Today is May 5th, and we have a very exciting interview coming your way. It is Tommy Kahnle. We talked with him about a bunch of stuff. We talked about the Yanks, so let's just do that. Let's talk Yanks.
Talking Yanks with old JOMBOY, JOMBOY and Jake. Recaps galore and weekly awards, stat lines, steaming hot takes. Your Yankees news with these two fine dudes. It's time for Talkin' Yanks. Talkin' Yanks with old JOMBOY, JOMBOY and Jake.
And Tommy Kahnle.
Talkin' Yanks with old JOMBOY, JOMBOY and Jake.
And Tommy Kahnle. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Talkin' Yanks. Thank you for clicking play and hanging out with us for a little bit. We just wrapped up a fun conversation with Tommy Kahnle, reliever extraordinaire in pinstripes, Tommy tight pants. Jake, how'd you feel it went?
I think it went great. You and I, we thought there were some time constraints. We didn't know how tight were those, so we didn't want to push Tommy, but we were rolling. We could have done 4 hours, but we banked out a solid little over half hour, and he was great. I don't know. He's been going through with the MLB The Show, and I know he's been making the rounds lately, so we didn't want to ask some of the generic stuff, but it was great, man. And I was excited to ask, like, the Rule 5 thing always blows my mind when you think about people's lives, so we asked about that. And then, with Tommy Kahnle, you're going to get energy and a good time. That's kind of the lock. Yeah,
that was good. I mean, we were told half hour. I think he gave us 40 minutes. And I think we could have kept going if we wanted to, but that was good. We'll have him back on again. You'll have to kick his ass in Madden, but let's just throw it right to the interview so that people can listen.
Go back to back, belly to belly.
We are joined by Shaker High School alum and professional gamer Tommy Kahnle. Tommy, how you doing, man?
Good, guys. I'm doing great. Just taking this quarantine a little well. I know a lot of people are probably losing their minds. I've been preoccupied playing video games, watching a lot of TV, hanging out with the wife, working out, throwing, all that kind of good stuff in the meantime. So it's been pretty good for me.
Do you feel like a professional gamer? Do you think that's an apt?
I mean, maybe not yet, but I'm getting there. I'm trying to get there. I'm trying to get there.
The league just wrapped up, right? Are you? By the end of it, were you kind of looking forward to the end of the league? Are you like, hey, give me season part 2, or where are you trying to tell MLB, like, let's get a Call of Duty league going or something like that? Or where are you at?
I wish I could get the Call of Duty league to go, but yeah, I mean, to be honest, I was ready for the thing to get over with. Yeah. I was so stressed out all the time. Those games are way too stressful. Can't handle it. I mean, I went on the Golick and Wingo show and told them about it, and they seemed to think that I couldn't wait to get done with it. So, and they were right.
Got it.
I heard they jobbed you in the final one when you were on ESPN2. You couldn't use Hicksy anymore.
Yeah, I couldn't use the MVP of the league, man. I kind of got jobbed right there.
Messed up.
But I mean, there was a few rule changes to when we had to do that. So I mean, no excuses, but. I mean, let's be real here. I didn't have my best player.
Yeah. When they chose representatives, like you were going to be the Yankee representative, did you kind of know that was going to be you right away? I mean, especially after the Madden League article, it was like, this is your lane that you're. Did the Yankee try to snake it from you?
From what I heard, I don't even know, to be honest. I got a call from my agent, and he was like, "Hey, you wanna do this?" I was like, "Yeah, 100%. Get me in this thing." And I guess somebody reached out to Voight too. Voight was telling me he recommended me for it, so I was like, "All right, cool."
Pretty good.
I was like, "Yep, I'm definitely in." Something like that is awesome. I love that stuff. Because especially like you guys just said with the Madden League, I'm in like 3 or 4 Madden leagues, probably like 30 people in it. Sometimes I don't even know who they are.
Do you think that Lindsay Adler's article was a nice depiction of you as a commissioner?
No, definitely not. I mean, that's because all the other guys were feeding her the info. That's the thing. They were trying to undermine me right there. That's crap.
Who do we talk to? Was it Clark? Someone was saying that you were feeding them wins, like you would go change it so they would win. It's pretty.
Oh,
pretty
so yeah, I mean the first season because I mean a lot of guys aren't really good, so I figured might as well. There was only 12 of us, so there's 12 playoff spots. So I was like, you know what, screw it, might as well just try to get all of them in the playoffs, and we'll see how it goes from there. But I mean now I don't do it anymore. We have like I created like a set rules list so they could follow it, but one of the rules I had to scrap within like 3 games of this new season because nobody followed it. It was like a fourth down rule. Like guys are going for it on 4th and 15 from like their 20, and I'm like, what are you doing? This is why you guys are just getting killed by me right now. They don't even get a chance.
Jake's a
when
big
Madden
Madden
gets
guy.
out of control like that, yeah. I mean, you're right, and I think the Madden game I tuned into for you, you were playing waiters, who
Yeah.
it's kind of for me, it's like a doppelganger type thing, so I figured I'd check it out. But yeah, I mean, you go up like that, and then if you start going for it on 4th, I mean, it's not a game. You're not having fun at that
No,
point.
it's just
Yeah.
I don't know what they already had a disadvantage just playing me in general, but now they're just killing themselves. They're just putting me in
Yeah.
great field position, going for it on 4th and 18. Who knows what it is? They get frustrated. I'm like, it's not the player in the game. It's the person controlling the other team. Like you gotta figure it out here.
We
Does
got
it-
I
does
try
it
to give these guys hints and stuff, man. It never works. They just don't listen to me.
Yeah. Run the slants when you see man to man.
Literally, yeah.
Does it feel good to like scratch the video game itch? Like, because I mean, during the season you can play, but I mean, does it feel good to like let it out right now?
I mean, to be honest, I feel like I might play more during the season. Not gonna lie.
Really?
So
Okay.
there are times where I'll wake up in the morning, hop on for like an hour, play. Then at the field I do play every day. People don't really know. So I kind of tuck away, go hide out somewhere for like an hour and a half and go play. And then after the game, I also do play for like 2-3 hours.
Damn.
I would say
Time.
maybe you're right. So maybe I do play a little bit more right now. So I mean, whatever. It
You're
just
right.
feels like I
Right.
play more during season, but
So you have a lot of players coming on to play with you. Like Britton's been on, like Wade, obviously. Judge came on recently. Did you get a noticeable tick, the Judge effect, on viewers and people tuning in?
so I think that was after one of my like players league games. So that at least like I want to say half the people stayed on. So we had at least like 800, 900 people watching because they knew it was Judge. And
Yeah.
I took a little vanilla on him just so I didn't have to crush him too bad.
It was his birthday too, right?
Yeah, it was. I forgot about that. Oh man. I try not to blow these guys out too bad. Like it just gets it's just too easy sometimes. I don't know.
What about
Then the article comes out saying you're a locker room problem for beating guys on video games. You don't need that.
yeah, it's causing fights.
Yeah, right.
What about real football? You happy with your Eagles draft?
Oh man, no, I was not very happy. I mean, I get what they're trying to do, but it's just
I don't. Can you tell me?
So I understand the drafting a quarterback thing, but I mean, at least he
Round
showed he was
2?
healthy for all 16 last year. I know he's
Yeah.
got recent history with like the 2 years, even though people are like, when I was seeing, I was watching TV the one day and they were like, oh, if you had Jalen Hurts last year, you're winning that playoff game no matter what. No, you don't. You don't know that.
No.
Exactly. Like Josh McCown played with a broke hamstring and almost won us the game.
Yeah.
At least that guy. It's just the second round pick. That's what got me. I think the first one, so the Rager pick, I didn't like it, but I did read an article that morning where we were like infatuated with Rager. So I was like, this is gonna happen. There's nothing I can do about it.
It's already in motion.
It's already
My
in
tweet
motion.
won't
So,
stop it.
yeah, I mean, on game when you watch him on game film, I mean, he is lightning fast, but that 4.47 in the combine worries me pretty bad.
Game speed, baby. Game
Yeah.
speed.
I'm all about game speed though too. So I'm not a big combine guy. Not a big. Mike Mamula destroyed the combine. Look where he went.
You think MLB would be fun if they did like a combine for like draft picks or whatever, like the top first round, just like arm speed, like a skills competition?
I feel like we should do that. Why not? That'd be awesome.
I'd watch.
You got to do the 60. What is it? Like a 90 or 60 is what we usually run. I don't know. We used to do that stuff back at the showcase.
60, yeah.
Oh yeah. we gotta get something going. Verticals, all that, broad jumps, be great. Let's go.
Spin rate, get some of the new stuff into it. That'd be a good time.
Oh man.
I want to jump back a little bit with you, Tommy, because you're coming up the Yankee system and you're kind of just straight up shoving. And the Rule 5 draft, a lot of people like you kind of have to be tuned into baseball to understand the Rule 5 draft. Was that I mean, everyone I feel like the answer is you're always excited to go to the show, but I mean, Yankees, Rockies, not that I'm putting the Rockies down, but different histories. I mean, are you just stoked you're going to be playing Major League Baseball, or are you surprised you're not put on the 40-man? Like, walk me through that whole process, because that spring training's got to be daunting too, because it's like I make it or I'm back to the Yankees. It's bizarre.
Yeah, exactly. So when it first, so my agent, I was in a lot of contact with him, and so when they first that date came and they didn't put me on the 40, I was bummed. Not gonna lie, I was bummed. I thought I had a really good chance because there was talk that summer that they were gonna give me possibly call up for September that year, and basically, so that didn't happen. And my agent told me basically there was gonna be a really good chance I was gonna get taken in the Rule 5 draft. So the day that it came, and I got a call from him, and he said, one of these teams is about to take you. He's like, I've got a call. Next thing you know, I'm getting a call from the GM of the Rockies. Like, hey, we just took you in the Rule 5 draft. He's like, how do you feel? I was like, whoa, hey, how you doing? What's going on? I was actually at the gym. It was pretty funny. I was in the gym locker room, and I get this call from him. I'm like, well, oh, okay, cool.
They make calls like that as if it's like the regular draft. Like, hey, because it's like a whirlwind for guys that get claimed. It's not like.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, straight up just called me out of the blue and was like, hey, we just took you. I was like, oh, okay, cool. But it was pretty awesome. I mean, to be honest, I wasn't like 100% understanding what was going on. To be honest, I just knew I was going to spring training with the Rockies, and that was it, basically. I was like, oh, okay, I go there. Cool. Yeah. Next thing you know, I'm out there in the spring, having a good spring. I don't know what's happening, to be honest. Just throwing baseballs, just trying to figure it out. To be honest, I had no clue if I was going to make the team or not. I didn't even think I would. My agent told me most of the time guys get sent back anyways. So I was like out there. I just went out there and just tried to forget about trying to make the team and just have fun. And basically it turned out that I pitched really well, and I made the team. I mean, they pulled me into the office. I want to say it was like a couple days before the season was about to start and we were breaking. And Walt Weiss pulls me and he goes, well, he's like, you're on the team. He's like, I was like, wait, what? He's like, yeah, you made the squad. I couldn't believe it. He like gave me a big hug, and I was like, this is awesome. I mean, I think I was starting to tear up a little bit, but it was a good moment. Yeah.
And then, I mean, you stayed because, like you said, you can get returned. Like 40 went to Seattle and got returned. Guy came back. I think Lasagna was a Rule 5 return guy, but that was it for you. MLB guy through and through. And then the next big thing is the trade to Chicago. Did that hit you like a ton of bricks, or did you see that coming?
I kind of saw it coming. I didn't see going to Chicago in general, but there was just Rockies. I mean, I wasn't doing well. It's just I feel like I lost my mind there. Pitching there is so hard. I don't know how guys do it. Like Ottavino, he's amazing for staying there that long. To be honest, I always tell him you're insane for staying there that long. But I mean, I basically told my agent, I was like, you got to get me out of here. I can't do this anymore. I go anywhere besides here. So eventually, he got to talk to the GM. They agreed they were going to DFA me and try to trade me somewhere. So I knew it was coming. So when the day came and they told me, I was like, oh, awesome. I'm going to White Sox. Cool. And I can go to the AL where I don't have to worry about trying to hit, bunt, and stuff in spring training, the worst.
Yeah.
So just go and focus on pitching. And I was pretty excited to go over there. And then in 16, I don't think I had a really good camp. I was in contact with Cooper a few times in the offseason. He was trying to get me to do a couple things like before I came into camp, work on. But it didn't really click. And then let's see. When did I think I got called up pretty early on that year. But it was April, I had a great time. Yeah. I would get that year I kind of bounced up and down a lot. And it really was to be honest, it wasn't that bad. I mean, a lot of people would probably struggle with it to like bounce around up and down a lot. And it wasn't to be honest, I wasn't really too worried about it. I was just happy to be playing baseball. Get up to the big leagues a couple times, hang out with the guys. Trying to get better. And then I think by around right before the All-Star break is when they called me up for the last time, and then I stuck the rest of the season that year.
Yeah, and then you were fantastic. I mean, when the Yankees made the trade, it was you, D-Rob, and Todd. And I think at the time, Jake was like, hey, Kahnle's the guy in this trade. Like, we know D-Rob, everyone knows Todd, but you were the big get there. I'm super curious about that flight because you have Todd Frazier, who's a New York guy. You got D-Rob, who was in the bullpen for the Yankees. You're coming back to your old organization or your first organization. Was that like, were the three of you stoked? Was D-Rob like telling tales? Were you picking their brains? Like, what was that flight like?
To be honest, we used to get stories from D-Rob all the time in Chicago bullpen. So he would compare everything to the Yankees. So it didn't matter what, like, so I already knew, I found out a lot about the big leagues from D-Rob in the Yankee organization. So, but to be honest, when it happened that night, when it happened, we actually me and D-Rob found out, actually, I think I found out when D-Rob and Swarzak came out mid-game, and they were like, the Yankees are all over you guys right now. I was like, wait, what? Because earlier that day, I heard a lot of people were talking that Boston was really high on D-Rob, and then my agent kept telling me Milwaukee was a big player for me. So I had a feeling I was going to get traded. I just didn't know what was going to happen. But when they came out like midway, because late inning guys, they told us right there, like they saw a bunch of stuff and looks like we're getting traded to the Yankees. Next thing you know, like seventh inning comes around, I don't get put in. Eighth inning comes around, still no. And then D-Rob doesn't go in either. We look at each other, we go, well, we just got traded.
Yeah.
So after the game, when they told us, we were all stoked. I mean, it was pretty awesome. I mean, all three of us wanted to go somewhere where we could win. At that time, Chicago was rebuilding. I mean, we weren't doing really well, and it was a cool situation for D-Rob too, to go back home to where it basically came up all the way, won a World Series, like all the accolades, and then Frazier being basically almost a Yankee fan growing up his entire life and living just outside New York, like he was stoked. And for me, it was awesome because, I mean, it's the first organization I ever played with, and I knew kind of what I was getting into, but not necessarily like the big league aspect. I was in spring once before, so I got to see kind of what it was like. But I was really excited just to come back because I knew a lot of faces still over there from when I was there previously. So I was pretty excited to kind of get to see them again and, meet some of the new guys. And it turned out awesome. I mean, so that night when we got traded, we all basically went back to our apartments, packed up everything like crazy. I stayed up till like 2 trying to help my wife pack up, and basically she did the rest the next morning. Because we had to fly out. So we're flying out, and I don't even remember if we were all next to each other on the plane. To be honest, I was exhausted. It was insane. We got in to Minnesota. It's got to be 12 o'clock. Game's at 1, or it might have been. To be honest, it might have been at 12:30. Something like that. We got in literally right when the game was starting. So we don't get there till the 4th inning, and I'm sweaty, gross. I hop in the shower, throw on whatever they got for me, like some pants that don't even fit, a jersey that's huge, go out to the bullpen. Next thing you know, I'm in the game like 3 or 4 innings later. I was like, oh, all right, cool. Got like no sleep. And I ended up throwing well too. I was kind of shocked.
Yeah, that was in the Minnesota series. I forgot you went right into it because you guys all showed up halfway through. I remember like Todd shaking hands and shit.
Yeah,
that was a fun run, the end of that 17 season. Then you pitched a ton down the stretch and then into the playoffs. Did you know, like, was Joe, when you come over, there's so many guys in that bullpen, like Dellin was there, Chappie's there, D-Rob's there. I mean, Warren was still there. Chad was there. I mean, did you like wonder where you were going to slide in? Did Joe tell you? Because by the end of it, you were like one of the main dudes.
Yeah. To be honest, when I first got there, I had no idea. I mean, I just knew I was going over there, and I was like, I'll just pitch whenever they want me to pitch. I don't really care. We're going to be winning. I'm going to have fun. It's going to be great. And then, like you said, I mean, a couple guys started to struggle down the stretch, so they had to use me more. And I mean, I just kind of took that role and just went with it. I mean, I'm never gonna like back down from getting the ball or anything. So it's one of my favorite things is competition. So
Yeah.
like my wife always says, you don't have to compete with me in everything.
And then, I mean,
What's the number one thing you and your wife compete at? Do you guys have like a dumb game around the house or something? Or maybe it's like who's cooking up the best dinner? Like, is there anything that you guys look at each other, raise your eyebrow at, and it's like, let's go?
Not really. I mean, it's more of me trying to compete everything with her.
Trying to turn it into it.
And
Yeah.
I annoy her by doing it.
we do a big throwing the socks into the sock drawer when they're balled up. Like I'll be like, all right, I got 10 shots. You get 5 shots, Katie. Let's see who can make the most. And she has no interest in it ever. She's like, shut up and just put them in the drawer.
Straight over it. Doesn't want to try.
Yeah. And I'm like, all right, 5 for 5. You're up. It's crazy.
Oh,
How's
man.
it? How's it? And it's kind of funny, and we don't have to relive the whole thing. But you mentioned Colorado. You know, there's the whole thing like you and LaTroy, and it's kind of in hindsight, like you were right. LaTroy was an angry old man, but we don't have to do that. But we when we talk when we talk to Otto, like we were talking about you a little bit, just going from the Rockies to the Yankees, and I think Otto said it best, and he was just like, what Tommy is like, all the energy you bring and everything. When it's a rookie, I think a lot of the older guys kind of raise their eyebrow and they're like, what is this? But now that you're established, like you're the heart and soul of the team. You've got CC Sabathia, who's a Hall of Famer, saying like, we miss Tommy Kahnle in this clubhouse. Does that, like, do you feel more comfortable, or for you has it just been like, hey, I'm who I am, like you guys figure it out, or where are you at with that?
So I mean, now obviously I am who I am, like you said. I mean, Otto always put it great. He always tried to defend me in every way. Like he's been there for me basically my entire career. Even when like I was away from him, I would call him all the time just to like see what's going on, like see if I can get anything from him. And like it's just, I felt like when I came over to New York, I mean, I was a little quiet at first, but like a lot of guys that like played with me before knew I was loud, crazy, like Bird, Tyler Austin. They knew that what was coming over. So eventually, I got a little warmed up to him. And I mean, it's a few, like you raise your eyebrows at first, like, whoa, what's this? But like, now that I was a little older and like guys didn't really care, like, and they loved it, they embraced it. I mean, I get a lot of laughs out of the guys just to try to keep them loose. It's a stressful game, so I mean, I try to do my best. So I mean, it is like how Otto said, as a young kid, like the way I was, it just raised a lot of eyebrows for the older guys, and they didn't really like it. I mean, maybe because I mean, when they came up, it was a different time, so they got really, really hazed and haggled, and it was just probably not fun for them. So I mean, I just try to have a good time, have fun, and like keep it light. I mean, it takes a lot of pressure off yourself, and I mean, like you said, CC loves it. I mean, I'm gonna miss him forever, man. That guy, he's one of a kind. So it's gonna be a big loss without him. But I mean, I'm gonna try to keep the clubhouse going. We always got to judge you on the music to keep it going. It's we got everybody in our new guy, new old vet. I'm gonna call him now. Old bald man.
We hear the stories about the plane rides and having fun on the plane rides. Have you ever heard any of the David Cohn stories from plane rides when he was the young wild one on the plane?
To be honest, no. I've never actually heard any stories about Coney, to be honest.
Coney, in his book, they would take the tray that you eat your food on, and he would stand on it in the middle of the aisle of the plane, and as the plane landed, would surf from the back of the plane to the forward of the plane on top of the tray.
Oh my God.
So if anyone tries to tell you you're too crazy on the plane, just be like, shut up. I know what you guys used to do.
I don't know if that will stand these days. I think Cody would look back and go, what on earth is he doing right now?
That's what, it's fucking wild, man.
I mean, I stand up in the middle of the aisle, but I don't surf on any trays, man.
I don't think many people do. It's a crazy
Yeah, that's some dangerous stuff right there. I'm surprised. Dang, how did he never get hurt doing that?
Yeah. When Booney ges hired, How long until the first Eagles conversation? And does he fit your fandom? Like, is he the same level as diehard Eagle fan as you, or are you like, shut up, Booney? You don't carry 10 jerseys with you.
Booney's not telling you about the O lineman and hitting the A gap and that kind of stuff.
To be honest, so when he first got hired and I talked to him, that was like one of the first things that we talked about was the Eagles.
Yeah.
Man. Before I even met him, that was one of the first things. So it was pretty awesome. But he is so very low key, very big Eagles fan. He may not like speak out a lot like I do, but when I got him one-on-one, we do talk about it a lot. So he's low key. He knows. Okay. He grew up in Philly for a little bit with his what was his grandfather that played there, or was his dad? No, his dad.
Both
right?
of them, maybe
his manage.
They all played baseball somewhere.
Yeah,
so.
they all the Boone family, man. Great family.
Crazy.
Seriously.
Yeah. He's also a 76ers nut too. So he's like pretty big in there. Was Kratzy an Eagles fan with you as well?
Oh yeah. Kratzy's a big Eagles fan too. But they so they're like a different type of Eagles fan. You got me, who's like every Philly Eagle fan who's a complete maniac, psycho, hates everything if it doesn't go right. Then you got them who are the more logical, kind of look at the bigger picture.
Okay.
And try not to be too critical and like try to like the Eagles more. I mean, just my personality, I guess. I just can't help it.
How'd you become an Eagles fan? Because you're from upstate New York, right?
Yeah. So the story I always tell everybody, because to be honest, I remember it pretty vividly. I was like 5 years old. I know the game. It was 1994 Eagles-Jets game. I remember sitting on the floor. My dad's on the couch. We're watching the Jets game. I think it's a 1:00 game. It's on CBS. Eagles are playing the Jets. My favorite color is green. I mean, I was infatuated with football. I just didn't really have a team or anything.
Mm-hmm.
Next thing you know, I see like their helmet, and it's got I loved it, like the eagle wing.
Yeah.
It looked awesome to me. So I was like, that's awesome. That's my team. And then that's how I took it from there. I fell in love with Randall Cunningham first, then Ricky Waters. And then after that, it was Donovan. So it's been a whirlwind for me.
That's beautiful, man. That's sports. That's the Broncos are my one outlier, and I just love Terrell Davis. And and then they got those new jerseys too, and I was like, yep, I'm in.
Yeah. I still want the old ones back, man. The orange with that light sky blue. I thought those were great.
Yeah, I like those as well.
Those have
I'm a big proponent for all the old school jerseys to come back. They need to come back.
You think the Yankees should have alternative jerseys? Do you like the Players Weekend jerseys? Because Judge just tweeted like he loved the all black, and I was like, I don't know. Better than the all white.
I mean, nah.
Yeah. It was weird.
I wasn't a fan of them. I like the idea where we get to wear like different cleats and stuff, so I think that's cool. But it just looks weird when you take the Yankee uniform out and just I don't know. We're really distinct. We have a distinct look, is what it is.
The white ones look like painters, house painters.
Yeah, I like the old school look. That's why. I
know Jake wanted to ask you a little bit about the changeup.
All right.
Yeah, it's on my tongue here, and I just well, because I know your fastball ticked up, I think in college at some point. So I'm wondering. Yeah. I like to cross sports, so this is going to be a crazy comparison, but I feel that moment's got to be like when a young point guard has that 6-inch growth spurt, and now they're like, "Hey, I'm a small forward now. Like, I can ball." Like, was the changeup? Was it the fastball developed, and then the changeup became that much better, or when was there ever a moment when it's like, "Oh, this is it. Like, this is nasty."
Yeah. So I mean, I always kind of threw hard, but like for where I was, I mean, upstate New York throwing like 88, 90 was like that's pretty hard because I mean, there's not too many kids up here that throw that hard. At the time, I mean, nowadays, there's kids out there throwing 95 all over the place. But at the time, me throwing like 88, it's just like eye-opening. And then next thing you know, I go to school down south and I pop out 95s and people are just like eye-opening, like, what just happened? But to be honest, I've always thrown a changeup. Ever since Little League. Like, I didn't even throw a breaking ball. I didn't throw a breaking ball probably till I must have been like 10th grade. I want to say I started throwing like a curveball.
You're
But
one of those kids that listen to the coaches.
my dad, not my coach.
There
My
you
dad
go.
my dad, of course. He
There
always
you go.
he always wanted me to throw a changeup instead of a curveball, but I always developed a changeup basically throughout the years. So what I started out with was always a circle changeup, and it's very hard to control. But when I throw it, it's really good. But when I went to college, I was mainly fastball, curveball. So I developed like a knuckle curveball. It was actually pretty good my freshman year, but then my second year it just completely disappeared on me. All I had was a fastball. Didn't really throw change. I had to just throw fastball changeups. And I mean, back in the day when you're playing college and they're using those crazy bats where the balls are just flying off about 700 feet, you're just like, well, this stuff ain't working. You need something that breaks. College is all about the breaking ball. That's definitely one thing.
Yeah.
But I mean, I just slowly kept throwing my changeup more and more as it went on. But when I first got drafted by the Yankees, they already knew it was good. So they what happened was in the first couple of years in the minor leagues, they didn't want me to throw it that much just because they wanted me to develop a slider and really just continue throwing that. So they would try to they would limit us from throwing like our best off speed a lot, just so we would get used to throwing our other secondary pitch.
That's brutal.
As a competitor, that sounds like, come on, guys.
But I mean, I get what they're trying to do. So like that's why we would throw 2-3 innings and really try to develop our pitches. But at the time, I just never really got a feel for a breaking ball after my first year of college. It just disappeared. No idea where it went. And more or less in 2011, I actually so I went from throwing a circle changeup to basically like a two-seam changeup. And in 2011, when I was in Charleston, I was just throwing like a side before the game one day, and the pitching coach Carlos Sanchez comes up and he's like, "How do you hold that?" Because it was good. It fades a lot and it was slow, but I showed him and he's like, "Why do you hold it like that how do you hold your fastball?" I was like, "4 seam." He's like, "Why don't you just hold it like a 4-seam changeup?" I was like, oh, all right." Next thing you know, I started getting more bottom out of it. So I was like, wow, all right, looks like we're throwing this. He's like, yeah, ta-da.
There you go.
Man.
And so basically from there in 11, it just took off and I just started throwing that instead. And I mean, I didn't really use it a whole lot until I want to say 2015 when I couldn't throw a fastball for a strike. So I needed to throw something for a strike. That was a changeup at the time.
Yeah, and then it looks like I'm looking at the Baseball Savant. Last year was the first year you threw your changeup more than your fastball. Was that just happenstance by, facing a lot of lefties and the way that you were used out of the pen, or was that a cognitive decision by you guys like, hey, let's switch this up?
Yeah, it was more of a kind of like analytic thing. I mean, if they really they would want me to throw my changeup every pitch. But you can't do that. But I mean, I get where they were going with it. It was working. So, I mean, just to keep that kind of ratio was pretty good. But that's why I was kind of still weary of it because it's basically like a 50-50 chance, I guess, that the hitter's guessing if it's going to be a fastball or changeup. But that's why I really was like trying to develop a slider again. Because you
started throwing one towards the end, right?
Yeah, in 17 I had a pretty good one, and then it just kind of disappeared on me in 18 and 19. And then I guess it kind of came back last year, not really, but I'm still working on it now. I mean, I'm trying to throw like a true knuckle curve and a slider now. So we're working on. I'm trying to get back that curveball.
Yeah,
I'm trying to get back the. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I guess.
No. Otto. I think Otto said like you texted him and was like, I got a knuckle curve now, right?
Yeah. So I've been really working on it big time because that's what Chad came into the spring throwing. I was like, this thing's gross. The first day he threw to me, I was like, whoa, hey, what are we doing here? I was like, this thing's gross, dude. He's like, yeah, I just threw it all off season. He's like, I just started from like short distance and then worked my way back. And I'm telling you, that thing's pretty lights out. So I was like, now that we got this second like kind of off season, I said, screw it. I'm going all in. I got on it again. Because that's what I threw in college was the knuckle curveball. It was pretty good. I used to throw it like anywhere from 78 to 80. Pretty good spin. So I definitely want to try to get it back. I mean, I need something that just isn't as fast, I guess.
Yeah.
I just need something slower. Yeah. Really to like gets the speed difference away from the hitter. That's basically what I'm looking for. But to add kind of a sharp breaking ball and a tighter slider, I mean, that would be great for me.
How quick when you snap one of those changeups off or release one of those changeups, do you know like that's perfect? Because sometimes, like watching, you can tell before. I think there was some at bat against it was a White Sox hitter. You just threw 3 in a row, just threw 3 changeups like right down the middle in a row, and it was like that guy's not going to hit that at all. Like, do you have that confidence in the changeup when you're feeling like at your best? You just like, well, here you go.
I will say I would say not always do I have like a confidence when it leaves my hand. I mean, obviously as I throw the pitch, I do, but there are times where I'll let one like right as I'm releasing it, I know it's a good one. But I would say for the most part, I wouldn't say I definitely think it's going to be a good. Like the ones down the middle, I get pretty worried about. Not gonna lie. I think it's just that they're guessing and they just guess completely wrong. And
it's got so much movement.
It's a big difference. Yeah, it's a big difference with the move, and it does. A lot of people have said like they can't see it out of my hand, so
that's cool.
They're just guessing fastball at that point, and they're just way too ahead of it.
Have you always been like a guy that can shut down a lefty? Because at the end of the season last year, I think when they were trying to lighten yours and Otto's load, they were splitting you guys up, bringing you in for lefties. As a righty to be like a lefty specialist, is that something that do you have more confidence versus lefties? Is that something in your head, or you're like, all right, if the stats say this, let's do it?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, ever since like I'm coming up through the minors, I've always noticed I had better numbers against lefties usually, and that was because of my changeup. Like I would have more strikeouts against lefties, and I always struggled with righties because I had nothing that broke away from them. Mm-hmm. So it was always stuff that comes in or just stays straight up over. So I mean, it was tough to like get a righty out, but eventually when I started throwing harder in 17, it was a little easier just because the velo was up. But I mean, right now it's not as easy anymore because not everybody's throwing 95 plus. So the hitters are adjusting quicker, and I think that it's just I always envisioned myself doing better against lefties. I guess I do. I love throwing against lefties. That's enough. Like. As you said, I do enjoy it. That's probably my go. I would love to just do that all the time, but can't.
Yeah,
I mean,
you could get a whole inning there.
I just got to figure out a way to get a little better with righties here in the future. Even though I think I did do well against.
Yeah, you're pretty good there too as well.
Yeah.
I mean, there are some times where I kind of struggle versus the I want to say like the more power righties, I guess. Just because I don't have like a power slider to combat with the fastball. But I mean, the changeup, to be honest, I've gotten a lot of feedback from our hitters, the righties and stuff. They say you could just throw that all the time and even do a righty. And I'm like, oh, okay.
It's dirty.
Works for me, I guess.
That pitch plays. That pitch plays.
Yeah.
Well, Tommy, I know you've kind of been going through the ringer with the video games, and like you mentioned, you're on the morning show this morning, so we won't keep you. I don't. You want to hype the Twitch? Any questions for us?
I mean, I got nothing, but I mean, I'm out there all the time, guys. I'm on. I know you guys probably watch, right?
BBD's
I'm usually on every night at
9:30.
Yeah. Me, Brent, playing some COD. Every once in a while, we'll get the sock man in there, but he ditched us last night. Played one game with us and said, "See you guys later." Yeah. That's when we brought the Bird in. Bird's taking over. That's our guy now.
Need a lefty. We need a lefty.
Yeah, right.
One last question. If you could take one pitch from another guy in the bullpen, we asked Otto this. Now you're talking about wanting a slider, but everyone's answer is always Chapman's fastball. But if you could have one pitch from another guy in the pen, what are you taking and putting into your arm?
So I was asked this last year. I think we all were, and I said Chappie's fastball. Obvious, but everybody's like, "What do you mean? You already throw like 97, 98." I was like, whatever. I was like, why not have 102 then?
Yeah.
But to be honest, I think about it more. Why not have Ottavino's slider? I mean, just to combat fastball, slider, and changeup right there, that'd be golden. Probably be a starter.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think It's funny, man. I feel like the pitchers we've talked to that everyone's kind of got that secret need for speed that comes out, and they're like,
Oh
yo,
yeah.
if I could pump that 102 though.
Crazy.
Like if you think about it, like, gosh, who wouldn't want to throw 103? You know, jeez.
Yeah, just to not think and just be like, oh, here's this one. It's the
Yeah, here you
pitch in
go.
baseball. It's crazy.
I'll take a little off. Here's 99.
Ooh, the cold water bottle to the face during the playoffs last year. Was that instant regret, or were you like, okay, I needed that? Is that an everyday move?
Yeah, it's a pre-thing routine for me. So every time I get right before I start throwing, is bottle to the face. Doesn't matter if it's 30 degrees, 100 degrees.
It's a little nicer on the 100-degree days, though.
Yeah, it feels great on those days. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, it does wake me up though when in those playoff games. I was like, oh, hey, here we go.
Starts dripping down your back. You're like, all right.
Oh yeah, you got to make sure it goes down the back.
What have you ever gone? Have you ever gone bottle to the face, 30-degree weather, and then they sit you back down, or is it like?
Oh yeah, it's happened.
And then you're just sitting there cold.
It's happened. Luckily, well, we got heating in our bullpen, so we're good.
Oh yeah, there you go. That's nice.
I mean, sometimes it gets a little too hot, and I'm like, come on, guys, I can't do this. I need some cold weather right now. I feel like I get lost in that bullpen sometimes because it's too cozy. You're all relaxed.
Who are you talking
like
to?
The uncomfortable bullpen.
Are you chatting up Chad and he responds like one every three sentences?
Yeah, most of the time, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome.
So I think I usually sit in between Chad and Harkey.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a fun group.
So I'm the closest one to Hart, so I drive him crazy all year.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's great. All right, man. Hey, we appreciate you hanging out with us for a little bit. When we're back and we got games going and everything like that, Jake is proud of his Madden game, so maybe I'll have you come to our office is 2 blocks from the stadium. We'll set up a match.
I don't want it to get heated or anything. But we've got
friendly game.
We've got an office by the stadium that we were excited for, and I know you're probably missing your office at the stadium, so hopefully we'll link up there sometime soon, man.
Yeah, for sure, guys. Yeah, we got to get together soon. Thanks for this. This is fun.
Awesome. Thanks, man. Enjoy the rest of your day.
You guys too. That was awesome.
Sorry.
Go back to back. Belly to belly.
And there you go. That was Tommy Kahnle. Covered a lot, Jake, in our 40 minutes of time. Covered a lot. The Rule 5, developing his changeup, college pitching, him and Booney's relationship. I think it's funny that I was like, how quickly did you guys talk Eagles? And he was like, actually, this is the first conversation we had. I'm like, of course, man.
Yeah.
Like, of course it was.
That's how guys operate.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
also, funny is like I'm
cool.
the non-logical Eagles fan. They're kind of logical.
Yeah, you gotta know. You gotta know. But yeah, Tommy was awesome. Man, I don't know, and it's funny. I know there are kind of these little tidbits that I hope if you've been listening to our Talkin' Baseball stuff and this, I'm fascinated by guys' careers and like the little defining moments that change them, and like. Tommy Kahnle's at what? Low A, high A, and what is it? Coastal Charleston. And a pitching coach says, hey, hold the ball like this. And now he's got one of the best pitches in baseball.
Why do you hold it like that? And what would he say? He's like, I don't know, man. That's how I hold it. Hold it like this.
Like that's, for me, I go into butterfly effect mode. Like what if the pitching coach decided he needed a cup of Gatorade right then and missed a throw and then doesn't say something? Like, I don't know, but it's working out for Tommy and Jimmy. Maybe what we've really uncovered is the Yankees bullpen secret knuckle curve this year.
Yeah. They're all coming out with it. Chad's got a nasty one. Imagine if Chad's like knuckle curve heavy.
How does that go with Matt Blake? Is Matt Blake like, guys, like you guys are good. Stop doing the knuckle curve.
Just a fad that's happening that Matt Blake is like, it's now his biggest enemy.
I did not approve any of this.
Chapman comes in and is like, Matt, I got a knuckle curve. And he's like, Chappie, you don't fucking need one.
Team meeting. Stop throwing knuckle curves.
Knuckle curves. Who's got one? Everyone raises their hand.
Happens to be the day that like Mike Mussina is visiting as like the Yankee alumni guy. They're like, come on.
He's here to help. Yeah. Well, anyway, Tommy was great. I don't think he has like socials, but go check him out on Twitch. And tell him you enjoyed his conversation with us. And we will be back later this week with the voicemail up. So call in 908-845-5792. Leave a voicemail. We'll have some fun as we wait out this quarantine till we finally get baseball back. That's the end. BBD, how did you feel the interview went?
That was good. He got our vibe and felt like a natural fit. Excited
Seems
to
like
have him in the office whenever baseball exists again.
Very easy guy to talk to.
Yeah, easy.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Thank you guys very much. Enjoy the rest of your day. We appreciate you. Go Yanks. Tell them, Grams.
Go Yankees.